Hey there, and welcome to my John Wick Chapter 4 review, and I apologize for being a little bit late, but things happen and such is life. Off the bat, I'm doing something different. I got a little bottle here real quick of this Bailey's, and it's Irish cream, it's 17%. I'm doing this as a toast for the late, great Lance Reddick, and unfortunately, Lance did pass away last week, and I guess officially 2 days before the John Wick premiere, and goddamn, all I can say about Lance Reddick is this guy was awesome for all the right reasons. He had a very big, thick, and long filmography.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
For me, he was best on the show called Fringe, which you should watch, by the way. And after I drink this, I gotta say one thing. I'm gonna leave down in the description a link for this thing called Funny or Die. And he does this bit called Toys R Me. I've watched it at least 50 times. It just never stops being funny. So, Lance, for you, buddy, I'm gonna miss you, you beautiful baritone chocolate bastard. And here we go. Ready?
It has been a pleasure, Mr. Wick.
Pretty good. Nice shot. So yeah, John Wick Chapter 4, I won't lie to you, after seeing on Thursday, I went to go see it a second time, so I'm kind of cheating in a way by talking about this film after I saw it a second time. That's also part of why I'm doing this review, to tell you why it was so goddamn fantastic, and you need to see it not just once, but multiple times, because this movie is that good.
Are you sure?
But as I do with every single one of my reviews, oh boy, I got some Dr. Pepper, zero sugar, and I'm mixing this with something here called Mr. Boston. And Mr. Boston, we have our sour apple schnapps. I tried this with Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew tasted a lot better. Didn't try it with Dr. Pepper. It might go very terribly wrong, but we'll find out, okay? So yeah, let's try this before we talk about John Wick Chapter 4. Ready? It's okay.
I've had better.
Definitely better with Mountain Dew. So, all right, John Wick Chapter 4, why I saw it, why you need to, why this movie was hyped up by so many people and critics and even Keanu himself in terms of action and how we had prepared for this movie. It damn sure is worth the hype. Believe me when I say that.
Review it!
Before I tell you why it's worth the hype, we gotta do my intro. Unlike sex with me, this does get better the more you have it. So, what's going on with John Wick Chapter 4? After the events of John Wick 3, Winston shot John off a roof, and some people felt like, well, was this Winston turning it on John? But come on, guys, this is the world of assassins, and we all knew John was fine, and so didn't Winston. But now John is pretty pissed off since the High Table is after him yet again, and much like the first John Wick, we have the first half hour setting up tension and build up and character development for action scenes that are coming. And the pacing is fucking perfect. I have to say this off the bat because we get, after a half hour, a 25-minute action sequence. I timed it both times seeing this film, and we get another 15-20 minutes of dialogue, then action sequence, then dialogue, and then soothing action.
5 minute guys if you wanna walk. Get it bloody.
The plot is pretty basic, as it should be, and some people felt like with John Wick 2 and 3, they're going too much into the lore and like the back history of John, stuff that we didn't need. This is, and the person I brought to see this at the second time didn't even see John Wick 2 and John Wick 3. So you could, in theory, go right from John Wick 1 right into John Wick 4 and not miss a lot. And much like the first one, this doesn't have a lot of storyline, and it doesn't need it because we're all here for the action and the characters. Basically, the High Table is still trying to kill John. John wants his freedom from the High Table, and he's going to kill everybody in his fucking way. We get introduced to Bill Skarsgård, which is a villain, and he's an asshole, and truth be told, I had a ton of fun with him. So, just like what guys told me in prison, you can have a very good asshole.
That's gross.
Ian McShane is back as Winston, and just like the first 3 John Wick films, he's not in this film a lot, nor does he have to be. Because every time he's on screen, the guy's lines, his delivery, he just steals the scene, okay? Lawrence Fishburne is back, and just like Ian McShane, not in it a lot, but he's there doing what he does as Lawrence Fishburne. Hands down, though, I gotta say, goddamn, after both viewings, my favorite character in the film is, no surprise, Donnie Yen. And Donnie Yen plays a character called Kane. I had to look up Donnie Yen's age. The man's 59 years old, and he still moves like somebody who's half his age. I think the guy isn't fucking human by any means. His character Kane is blind, and he has this cane/sword, and every time he's on screen, I'm just in fucking awe by how much of a goddamn badass he is. Kane is an assassin, as you would expect in a John Wick film, And I like him because he has a history with John. He's not there because he wants to be, but he's put in a situation where he kind of has no choice, okay? And sometimes he's even helping John out. We have a character called Mr. Nobody. He has to have a dog because why wouldn't a John Wick film have a dog for? The scenes with him and the dog are excellent, and I had a great time seeing Mr. Nobody. Last but not least, I'm not sure this actor too much. I had to look him up afterwards. A guy named Scott Adkins. He's in it for maybe 10 minutes, and he doesn't have a big impact, but I thought the guy was cool as hell when he was there, and I looked stuff up, and apparently they put him into a fat suit, okay? Now, it comes down to the man himself, the myth, the legend of Keanu and John Wick. How was he in the film? I want to say that off the bat, you can tell that when Keanu said that this is the hardest he ever trained in his life, you can fucking tell because the man puts the work in and he's just John Wick is John Wick, but damn sure doing things a lot more intense than the previous films because my god, there's a scene with nunchucks and there's also one scene with him driving a car and shooting. Both times I watched it, I'm just in fucking awe. It damn sure pays off. So that's all I can say. The characters are all badass and I loved every one of them.
A new day is dawning. New ideas, new rules, new management.
But let's be honest, we're all not here for the characters. We're here for the one thing, the action. And is the action up to par? Does it live up to the hype? And was it even better the second time watching it? I gotta say yes, yes, and goddamn yes. I'm looking forward to seeing so many behind the scenes videos on this movie because some of the things that these guys did, I have no fucking clue. They ramped it up to 11 and it pays off. I can show you some trailer footage where there's one sequence involving a roundabout and cars and I have no idea how they filmed this scene. And one scene I probably can't show you, but just real quick to tell you, it involves John Wick, a house, and a shotgun, and these dragon fire shotgun shells. And both times I saw this film, everybody in the audience were laughing their asses off. Not because it was stupid, because it was so over the top and perfect. This entire action sequence, it was just, it's poetry in motion. So it's badass. In the end, John Wick Chapter 4, hands down the best one in the franchise, and hands down showing people that if you have directors and actors and writers and people that give a shit, a franchise won't get stale if you know what you're doing. But also, I do wonder that if they wanted to make a John Wick Chapter 5, if even we should get one, because this movie was so epic that I feel like, how do you top all the shit that you guys did in this film? It does have an ending, it does kind of leave things open, but I wondered, if we should have any more. And truth be told, if this was the last John Wick film, I would be fine with that. So yes, it's worth the hype. You should see it. And truth be told, I can't wait to buy it on digital and watch it a fucking third time. So how am I going to rate John Wick Chapter 4? Man, I have to do some kind of intro or gif or some shit. But for me, in terms of action films, it's by all accounts a goddamn action masterpiece.
It's truly a masterpiece.
Yeah, there's not much more I can say about it. Go out and see this fucking movie, okay? It's worth it. So I'm going to, as I always do, check my watch, and I'm on break right now. Have to get ready for my wonderful job.
I hate my job.
I'm going to finish this, grab Bender one last time. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Let's get out the robot. Ready?
This calls for a drink.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So now I have to head back to work.